happens to me all the time. You're like, hey, what was we talking about?
Coach BK.
Coach John.
There's a Coach D over there. Coach Red. Where you at?
He's hanging in the background, man. Hiding out. Look at that. Moo cow.
In honor of Ironman Wisconsin coming up. One of the favoritist races ever. Anyway,
I went to the boat twice.
What are we talking about?
Talking about getting faster on the bike.
I hate biking.
Love biking.
I hate biking.
Look at it this way. If you get faster, you can get to your run faster. See, there you go. I mean, I hate running, but whatever.
Right?
It's all good.
Okay.
We all got to do something.
Biking, getting faster on the bike, if we're talking about half Ironman, getting faster on the bike is the number one way, short of nutrition, to make improvements on your long distance races because you were sitting on that dang seat for so long.
Absolutely. I think, it's paramount. For most people, you're not going to improve your run speed terribly much. The swim speed's a little bit, maybe. It's such a short part of the race. The bike is the biggest chunk of the race, and it's the best chance for you to shave time. So.
And it is also the best place to be more efficient, not screw up your race nutrition, and be on super even keel. So then when you get to the run, you have more left in the tank.
Absolutely.
So, I think one of the reasons why John and I wanted to do this is because in our coaching practice and what we see is that a lot of people are doing what they call this gray zone training. It's just in this area, and interestingly enough, it's in the race zone. Right. Zone 3, but they're spending all of their time in this one zone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand. We really want to hit kind of on either side of that. The zone 3, it's comfortable. It's comfortably difficult. You feel like you got pressure on the pedals. Your bike, you're pushing. But really what we want to do, zone 1, zone 2, those rides should be easy. You shouldn't be blowing yourself up there. But when we want you to go hard, we want you to be able to go hard. Some of these workouts that we've designed here, there's a few of these you'll feel like you ought to throw up when you get off the bike.
Yeah.
That's designed for a purpose. We want that. We want you to go hard when it's appropriate, but we want to build that endurance in that zone 2, low zone 3, not everything going just as hard as you can go. So,
and we'll touch on a little bit of what the zones, are doing, just a smidge. And, if you're interested in heart rate based training, knowing the science behind that, because there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in heart rate based training. We have some podcasts and resources and PDFs for that. But anyway, so what's the first thing? We're going to kind of run through this list of helping you to be faster, and we're going to hit kind of like in a logical order in my mind.
Sure.
How to get faster. So
the first thing that I want to talk about is bike fit. A lot of us, we get into the sport, we'll make an investment in a TT bike, time trial bike, tri bike, whatever you want to call it. Those bikes are a little different than a road bike. They're set up different. They're made for a different body position on the bike.
More efficient, aerodynamic.
So with that being said, spend the money. You go out, you spend $1,000 on a bike, spend a couple $100 and get the bike fit to your body.
You're talking $250, and you're also talking time.
Yeah, you're going to need
2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about a good bike fit is going to include follow-ups. Right. They give you information. They mark your dang bike. Because one bike fit, it's not just a one-day event. It is go back, tweak, and then don't ever touch it again.
Absolutely. Unless you just absolutely have to make a change. Yeah, once you get it set, just leave it alone. But yeah, that's one of the first things that I see that people get into. They buy a bike and they go, well, okay, it's designed. I'm 5'6" and 52-inch frames. They're centimeter frames made to fit that size, so good enough. Well, not really.
Right.
And, when you get into long course racing, you're doing sprints, you're doing maybe even Olympic, it might not bother you too much. You can get out there and do, 15, 16 miles, 20 miles. But when you're doing 56, 112, your knees, your ankles, everything, your hips are going to take a beating if you're not set at a point where the bike's made to
Right.
work for you instead of against you.
Right.
So spend the time, spend the money, and get it done right off the bat.
Right. Excellent point. So some things that a good bike fit, maybe for the new person or just kind of fundamental ideas on bike fit, you want a more of a balance with the ability to use your quads and your hamstrings. You don't want to close down your psoas angle so much. So things like that, and certainly the knees being pain-free.
Absolutely.
One thing you don't have to do, he doesn't do it, I don't do it. You don't have to get super aggressive with your arms, with aero. Comfort on Ironman first.
Absolutely.
Because if you're hurting,
Well,
it's a bad.
yeah, I'm a perfect example of that. I've got some disc issues in my back, and while I would love to be able to get more aero, and I can for a period of time, but what I find is I end up having to go up and down to relieve the pressure on the discs in my back. It's what we chose to do was put a riser
Right.
on my bars. I'm still aero. I'm not bent over completely aero as I could be, but what it does is it allows me to ride in the aero position for 2.5, 3 hours versus 45 minutes and then having to do this bounce up and down to try to relieve pressure. So yeah, find the bike, get the bike set up to where ideally what we want is you to be able to be in aero from the start of the race to the end of the race.
Comfort level is
Absolutely.
and for especially for a first time or for folks that are not spring chickens. I'm not a spring chicken.
Absolutely. Gray hair.
Comfort, because if you are hurting that entire bike, when you get on the run's going to be a shit show, and you're going to be slower than had your bike been 10 minutes slower because you were
Absolutely.
more comfortable. So just be careful
Absolutely.
how you approach that.
Absolutely.
Anything on bike fit?
No, I think that's a basic idea. What I would recommend, go to your LBS, your local bike shop, find out who does fits in your area, use the internet. It's a good deal.
Be clipped
You
clipped in.
Yeah, find out who does a good job,
Yeah.
and then invest the time and the money, because we don't see your bike here personally most of the time. We can offer some suggestions to some of our local people, but you're going to have to trust the professionals in your area to do a good job for you. So,
Okay.
all right,
The second on the list.
electrolytes, and this is a big thing because you will wish you had done it right if you didn't.
So, electrolytes, fueling, and we train our athletes to understand hydration separately, fueling separately. The idea, hydration means water and electrolytes together, so your body actually uses them, and fueling meaning calories and how you provide the body the fuel to go. So the reason why we're putting this pretty high up, it's obviously very important on long distance racing. So when you get to that run, your tank is still fine. Ideally, you get to you're going to be tired, but mentally you're going to be on point because you did your electrolytes right. And just feeling wise, you can't do long distance racing and just constantly be behind each hour and then expect the last mile to be the best mile.
Right. No, yeah, you'll burn way more than you can put in, and if you get behind, you're sunk.
So we're going to have there's lots of resources, and if you guys are wanting more specific information on fueling and hydration specific for speed workouts, which is different, we're going to cover that in our Faster in 5 program that we're going to have information on. But anyway, it is very different fueling and hydrating for interval workouts.
Right.
And sometimes this is what you miss because you're not giving the body maybe adequate amounts of sodium, so you're trying to finish that strong workout and it sucks at the end, and we sort of talk ourselves into it's supposed to suck at the end, so we don't do anything about it and we don't question that part. But you should be able to finish an hour and a half, 2 hours of strong interval workout without feeling like, well, you're going to feel crappy. But not like death, like you got ran over by a train.
You ought to feel like you put the work in.
You might want to
that's
puke,
really where you should
but
be.
you sort of are still like, okay, that was awesome. I don't want to puke, but that was awesome.
What we're trying to train you for with the interval training is just simply racing.
Right.
You know, racing's always going to be hard, and if we work hard in the intervals, it's a heck of a lot easier when we get to the race. So
a little bit about the science. Just get in the program if you want, or we have tons of stuff on of electrolyte and fueling stuff. If you are working harder, your body is not going to burn fat for fuel. It is going to be very reliant on glucose. That when you're working harder, the heart rate zones go up. It's thinking you're running from a saber-toothed tiger and is not going to be taking the fueling off your hips. Okay? Right. It is going to take it from your liver. It's going to take it from your muscles, and you're going to hit a wall. And then your performance and your gains of that interval workout is just going to plummet. It's just going to be bleh. And you're not going to get the gains that you would had you been fueling and hydrating like you were doing long distance racing. And then the other caveat is if you're adding in these interval workouts, say like within an Ironman training cycle, you never want to get behind in one workout or in a week. So enough on that.
All right. Well, a little bit of hit on that. Let's get into some of the meat of this whole thing. Talking about technique. How do we get faster? Well, a lot of it simply comes down to how you're pedaling the bike, and what.
Hey, wait! Wait a second.
All right.
I really like watching Grey's Anatomy when I'm biking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. Wait, can I Facebook while I'm? I am not making fun of anybody. I actually do this shit.
No, I think as we get on our longer sessions, especially on the trainer, I train a lot on the trainer.
I know you do.
I
do too.
I'm kind of a trainer guy. I use Zwift, I use Trainer Road, I use Sufferfest, all three of those different apps.
We'll tell you how.
We'll get you there. But here's the thing, guys. One of the problems that I see develop with the TV and the radio and all the mental stuff, okay? Problem is you get on a race course and none of that's there. Can't have it.
You lose the mental grit.
They find the ability to pull yourself through. My wife came down here the other day. I was in the middle of a 3-hour ride, and I was working up a pretty steep grade on Zwift, and I was talking to myself rather intently.
Oh, I could just hear it.
She kind of was laughing at me a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to develop. You have to develop the ability to do that. You've got to be able, when it's tough and it's you in your head, what comes through? What do you work with? And unfortunately, Grey's Anatomy isn't playing on the race course, guys. At mile 32, when it's raining sideways and it sucks, there ain't nothing on except the deer running by the side of the road. So, it's just, you better figure out how to develop the mental fortitude to go, I have to push here. Yeah. I have to stay mentally strong here.
Right.
So
I did training for Ironman Texas. I did all of my training indoors by myself. Did both 120-mile bike rides inside by myself. I was texting you sometimes. Oh my gosh. And I held race pace. And it is so incredibly tough. And everybody's like, I hate the trainer. I hate the treadmill. If you can embrace that and hold the line. When I got to Ironman Texas, and I was doing pretty good, and then it got hot, and there was the shenanigans that happened at Texas that year, and it was just stressful. I was chanting to myself, don't give in, don't give up, hold the line. Absolutely. Over and over and over. And I came in and I made up my swim time. And I came in and I was on point for the race goal that I wanted to have. And it is that mental toughness of Absolutely. Being able to embrace the suck.
And it really is. It's an ability. It's an acquired ability. And it's trained just like anything else. You can't expect that, we have all this nifty technological stuff. We got headphones we can listen to in the pool now. I did a 2,500 set this morning. It's 100 links back and forth. Kind of gets boring. It's nice to have that there. It's great when you put on some tunes and go, well, I'm just cruising. Except it's not there on race day. Yeah. And you had better develop that grit before you get there, because it's not going to happen the day you show up at T1 at 4:30 in the morning. So,
no, that's when you have bellyache. That's when you get off the bike and you start to cry, or you whatever, or not that I've ever done that. Or you're like, how many times have you heard on podcast or what's that Iron Cowboy? He's like, I have picked up the bike and I have thrown it down.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, this is really tough stuff, and sometimes you just really throw a temper tantrum. And
the mental thing, that was such a fascinating thing for me, because it was the first time I'd ever heard a pro talk about melting down. We see.
There we go.
Mama's home. We see. These guys do the fantastic things they do. They're ungodly fast. They do things make you go. Ugh. But when you hear one of these guys tell you, I got off the bike and I picked it up and I threw it as far as I could throw it, and I sat on the side of the road and I cried for 8 minutes.
Right.
It took him to get himself together and go pick the bike up and go get going. That makes you understand we're human. When we have troubles, these guys do this for a living, and when they melt down, it's not uncommon to see one of us have a problem. So, those things happen. But the thing that those guys have that so many people struggle with is that ability to go pick the bike up and go. That's where that mental grit comes from. Doesn't mean he didn't lose it for a minute. It meant
you will lose it.
He figured out how to go, okay,
yep.
I got to go. He lost 8 minutes of time for that meltdown. And when you're making your living doing this, 8 minutes is an awful long time. But hey, it happens. So,
okay, technique. So what we're saying is, do your work. Get your work done.
Absolutely.
Get your work done.
Hard.
Work hard. When it says
GYSD.
When it says, yeah. More on technique. Single leg drills. People hate them.
I got them this week.
Single leg drills. You're going to see them every other week, every 3. They're very, very key. One of the things that we want to do, single leg drills keep you uninjured. They also help to develop efficiency. You sometimes don't have to work any harder. You just need to be more efficient, just
Absolutely.
like the pool.
Yep.
You don't need to work harder, just more efficient. So single leg drills, balancing out the quads and the hamstrings, utilizing per your anatomy, and we'll talk more about this later, a full pedal strip. Right? Instead of being quad heavy, because then if you're not quad heavy, what can you do? You can run faster.
Absolutely. Once you've engaged the hams, then you're the legs are a lot more balanced when they come off.
And then
the
you
bike.
don't have hip flexor issues later.
Mm-hmm. I know about those.
I know.
So RPM.
Ugh.
Now, this is one of my favorite things. Cadence. How fast do you pedal this thing? One of the articles we've got in this series deals with cadence and with what we need to do to keep things efficient. How fast do you need to be spinning the pedals? Because if you are burning yourself up, especially on long course racing, 112 miles is a long time to be trying to burn at 120 RPM.
Right.
On short courses, you might come out and give it all you got. Sprint, fire it up, go after it. But for half Ironman, 75 to 85 RPM is about where we want to be, because it's going to give us the most efficiency. It's going to give us the opportunity to conserve our body so that we're not tearing ourselves up and burning through the calories faster than we can put them back in our body.
Going over the course well, understanding how to manage your gearing with your
Absolutely.
RPM. The other thing that people don't appreciate about like high cadence RPM work, when it's saying 100, 120, there's a dog down there. There
Yes.
really is. He's just not like losing his mind.
Pit bull hanging out down here. So
we are a dog.
we're dog lovers.
We're a dog group.
We're
so.
people. we're mutt people.
So when you're working on, and we'll talk more about this later in our program, but if you're working on like 100, 120, and Susan says, you suck, I hate these. When you learn how to eliminate the bounce,
Right.
that is bringing in how you use your core on the bike. And how you use the core on the bike, it keeps your neck happy, keeps your shoulder happy, keeps your back happy, keeps you in the game, and helps you to be able to withstand things going sideways. I can't tell you how many times my excellent balance And core work, not the dogs, core work has saved my bacon on not completely biting it.
Absolutely.
Like Ironman Texas, when you were engulfed by a whole bunch of bikers, it's the core work that holds your space. So anyway.
And you know, when you get in bad conditions, we just did Eagle Man here in June and had terrible conditions, high wind and rain. And those two conditions created dangerous stuff. And the ability to hold the bike and keep the bike from getting squirrely as you go through things makes a big difference. And so, you know, if you don't have the core work, your back muscles aren't strong, your abs aren't strong, you're going to end up with some problems. So
we're going to take a pause.
Just for 1 second.
Okay, go, dude.
Go.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
You're fine.
Is that right?
That's a look.
You like that?
I do. Henry.
Go, dude. Oh.
I had one of these Monday.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, we're back. We apologize. Unexpected little puppy problem there.
So that's technique, and technique you need to work on all the time, just all the time. So next thing we want to talk about, you know, once you get technique and you're a little more efficient, you're getting out of your own way, kind of, you know, like single leg drills teach you how to not be quad heavy. Lift up that leg so, you know, you're not, when you push down, you're actually going forward. You're not lifting the other leg.
Right.
Okay. Do you like using, I'm putting you on the spot, I'm sorry I didn't warn you.
It's all good.
Do you like using heart rate training or training by power?
No, I'm a power guy. I train with power. Heart rate training is fine. I think heart rate training is what I would almost recommend with heart rate training, especially for the new person coming into the sport. I think it's hard for those of us that have done it the other way for quite a while. You're used to a certain level of push, and part of the problem when you start heart rate training is taking it down to the notch where you feel like you're going, my God, am I doing anything? You don't feel like you're even working, and so if you start out at that level, I think it's a great way to train. I think some of our new athletes, I would love to see them start on heart rate training because if you can develop the ability to keep the heart rate low, you're not going to burn it up near as fast as those of us that get after it on power. So while I train that way, I'll give all the props in the world to the other side. So
well, and I think that they're both useful and they're both needed. So my preference is that we start or understand or know how to use heart rate training. Heart rate training is where the body adapts. It does certain things in one zone, it does certain things in another zone, it does certain things in this zone. Zone 3, the racing zone, in general, you learn how to recycle your own lactic acid, get it back into the Krebs cycle. So you're making ATP, but you're not ingesting food in order to do it. It's efficient. It becomes more perpetual. That's badass. Because then when you're doing certain things, you're needing to take in less, and your body is just like, dude, I know how to do this. This is one of the big benefits of being more fat adapted, is that you are using your own stuff.
Absolutely.
But heart rate training also shows you when you get up into the higher zones, you have to eat differently because things, and you know, the heart rate training has its own mechanisms for telling you when you're overtraining or you need to back it down and blah, 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 blah. So I want to mix the two.
I think that's fine. I think if you can learn to adapt power training into the zones, the heart rate zones, and figure out how to generate power without revving the heart up, then we're where we need to be. And
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of the things that we're going to work on here a little bit with this series. I've got some drills I've put together that are I call them push-pull drills. What we're going to do is we're going to push you up from the bottom. We're going to pull you up from the top. And what those do is hopefully correlate to that ability to keep the heart rate at a moderate level, so that we're not burning all of our fuel when we do make the harder pushes.
Right. Absolutely. So, and we've been doing that on the running. I've been, kind of really pushing people to do some interval work on running. Use the exhale and yoga type breathing, heart rate stuff to keep the heart rate down so you can do harder efforts at the same heart rate. So that translates to more power at the same heart rate, which is just like winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What in the world is VO2?
The Holy Grail, huh? VO2 max. All right. Most of us have heard of this. It's a kind of a complex science in a little bit of a way. It's most of us have got watches and stuff that'll give us a kind of a halfway sort of an idea.
Please do
of
not
what it
rely
is.
on Garmin to tell
Yes.
you that your VO2 max is going like that. That's
Yeah.
sort of all marketing and
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
participation medal
To
type.
get your
deal.
VO2 max, you need to go to a lab and have it tested. It isn't something your watch will tell you. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's based on oxygen. It's based on your
That's
heart
right.
ability. It's based on your physiological
What?
makeup.
What it all comes down to, how well can your muscles burn the oxygen you are taking in?
Right.
And the ability to burn oxygen versus burn fuel, meaning the muscle fiber, the glucose, the glycogen in your body, the longer you can stay away from burning that up, the stronger and longer you're going to go. So, VO2 max is an interesting thing. It's a little hard, can get a little funky to understand. We've got an article in this series that kind of gives us a basic overview of it. There's some stuff there that will take a little getting used to, and if you want to explore that further, we can do that. There's a ton of stuff on it. We hit on it kind of basically, but there's a lot of things we can do. But VO2 max here again, this kind of goes with the power issue. What happens when we ramp the power up? We burn the oxygen that much faster. That's why when you do a hard effort, you're breathing hard. You're sucking air a little bit. That's what that is. That's your VO2 max capping.
Right.
So, what we've got some drills in this series that'll be designed to help you raise that VO2 max. They're intervals. They're hard little pushes. A lot of them aren't very long, but we'll ask you to go like hell for 30 seconds.
Right.
And it's funny because oftentimes raising these things don't seem like it takes that much. A 30-second interval doesn't seem like that long, except after you've done 15 of them, it'll seem like a real long time. But these things are designed to help you. And like I say, VO2 max gets kind of complex, but if you really want to get into all that, get in touch with us and we can get you all the information you need. But it's a science. It really is. It's not something that your watch is going to tell you. So, it'll give you an idea, but it's not going to give you anything that you can really work with. So,
and he hit on, VO2 max. We're hitting on intervals. We're talking about lactic acid. We're talking about fueling-wise recycling lactic acid. We're talking about heart rate zones and toying around in the different zones. Mm-hmm. If you go to this interval work, this interval idea to get faster, but you also do enough low-level endurance time, that's where you build more mitochondria. More mitochondria are energy centers in your legs. Just dumbing it down. So you have more of those, but you need better VO2 max in order to fuel them when you're working harder, right? Do you see how you need to build those two skills up? So you need to do low level stuff. You need to do hard stuff so the magic happens here.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we were talking earlier in our discussion about when it's easy, it needs to be easy. But when it's hard, we want you to go hard.
Right.
And that middle ground is where you're going to gain.
It's where you're going to race.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to ask you to go. Zone 4, zone 5, which you'll feel it.
Zone 5 is the puke zone.
30,
so have the bucket.
30 seconds of zone 5, and you will feel like you want to throw your bike against the wall.
Right.
But it will make you stronger and it will make you better.
Right. Absolutely.
So, all right. Ah, yes, indeed.
Strength training.
Absolutely.
Strength training, endurance athletes do not do even remotely close to enough strength training. I've been doing strength training a long time. You've been forced into strength training, and now you are a believer, a convert,
Absolutely.
and you have your own strength training guru thing, and it's wonderful. You want to make changes? Strength training is the quickest way to do it.
I have, one of the ways that we measure on the bike is what we call FTP, or functional threshold power. I have spent about the last 2 months really kind of working hard on my lower body and core.
Legs.
I've got a buddy of mine that's a kind of a strength training guy, and we decided that we wanted to really take on Waco here in a couple weeks, and so we decided that we wanted to make some changes, and with BK's blessing, we got together, and he's put me through some things that I absolutely suck. Every time I do them, they hurt, but I've raised my FTP about 26 points since I started doing that.
Quick.
It's
very
2 months
quick.
is a very fast
Really
rise
fast.
to raise that much. And guys, that's raising it 26 points on a trainer. Typically you will 5 to 10% higher outdoors than you will be on a trainer. So if you're talking about that, you know, we're talking about probably over the course of 56 miles, I'm probably saving 7 to 10 minutes a time from where I was before I was strength training. And guys, 7 to 10 minutes a time is like erasing one of your it's like erasing T1 or T2.
Right.
You know, so it really, you can't beat it. And we've got some really good programs, I think, to if you want to go that route, we can get you set up to where, you know, we'll make you suffer, but we'll make you stronger too.
I want some cautions and some points on the strength training. It does make you faster. And through the years of coaching, I've heard people say, well, I'm doing strength training, I'm working with a trainer. And I'm not trying to say anything about anybody, but in my experience, a lot of the trainers in Genesis and the Y do not understand what we're talking about. They don't understand how to cultivate and how to balance out the endurance side of everything that you're doing and do what's needed in order to keep your joints centered, develop quad hamstring balance. You know, hamstrings, glutes have got to be firing correctly. Know how to do that. Absolutely. And get stronger, and then functionally understand, and then take all of those lessons to running and biking. And then mix it all in. And so it is a learning curve. It is tough. Absolutely. You'll run across obstacles. You'll be like, oh, dude, I just tweaked my hamstring. Help me. Mm-hmm. So if strength training is your thing and you want to know more about that and do it well, and you're not a spring chicken, you'll want to get either some guidance somewhere from somebody that is a triathlon coach and a strength training coach.
Right. And if you go with a strength training coach, make sure that person is willing to understand our sport. This is not powerlifting. You'll see a lot of people that their idea with strength training is to build bulk and build muscle, and what we're doing is an entirely different thing. I'm not in here trying to lift heavy. I mean, you know, what I'm lifting is heavy enough, but it's not designed to make my quads huge. You know, right. I don't want to look like Ronnie Coleman. Ooh, you know, because all that does is limit my ability on the bike, not help it. Right. So, you know, that's a key point, because I really think a lot of trainers they look at weight as bulk. And we're not trying to develop bulk.
No, you want to work on stability muscles. You want those stability muscles to have the endurance in order to stay centered for whatever length of time. We're talking 3 to 7 hours generally on the bike. That's a long time.
Absolutely.
And then work on developing, you know, the strength and more muscle, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and that brings us, I think, to one other thing. Let's talk core, because we talked a little bit about legs. We talked about hams. Hams are a big thing to me now, because I never developed mine. Right. I was real strong quad. I was
core work.
You know.
Oh my gosh, core work, people.
Yeah. I like ham.
You like ham?
Ham's good.
Core work, ladies, guys. If you have IT band issues, if you have disc issues, if you have one hamstring issues, if you have one knee issues, you have core issues. And it's because you have a hip girdle that does this and does this and does this and does that. And then if you're quad heavy, everything goes forward. And if you're one quad heavy, then it goes like this. And the core work all keeps it centered. And you know what? Core work, what else does it do? It makes you faster in the pool.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. It makes your rotation, makes your stroke.
I know.
Which means we get to the bike quicker. Which means we get to your run quicker. Which means I step on your foot quicker.
Core work is stupid important.
Absolutely.
And if you want to have like that biking neck that doesn't happen, your core work and having proper technique on how you're actually managing riding the bike, core work. If you want to be able to maneuver around people that get in your way, or the core work and my balance work that I do in the Bosu ball,
Absolutely.
bought me not biting it at Ohio. We were running through a bike station. I wanted water. The person in front of me wanted water. He did it right. I was doing it right, calling, asking. The person handing it to him didn't do it right. Didn't hand him the bottle right. He drops the bottle, and I said, "Oh, I dropped some F-bombs," because I'm like already in the position to take my water, and I'm like, "Oh shit." Right? And the core work, because I could not touch anything. I was like just instant like that. And my core work, the ability to move and to hold my line. Absolutely. And I moved away from that water bottle spinning right in front of my bike. And I was thinking, and my guy handing me the water, he was like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I get through there and I'm like, "Oh dude, I still need water." And he goes, "Yo, you're badass." And I'm like, "Yeah, no road rush today."
Not today.
Core work is so important.
Absolutely. All right. Well, talk a little bit about effort. Talk about what we want you.
Effort.
Well,
hard effort.
What we want you to do is work hard here. These drills, the Faster in 5 series. There's 3 different levels of this that we've designed.
Yes.
All the way from a fairly beginner level, all the way up through Ironman level, and they're time intensive. If you get involved in this, expect to put in some time on the bike. Your butt's going to hurt a little bit because the saddle's going to be up it. But to benefit, you've got to do the work.
Right.
It's
and the program's going to teach you a lot of skills.
It's very, very easy after the 3rd or 4th day when you're tired to go, "Okay, I did it. I went through it." But understand, this comes down to how bad do you want it? Because, it's a battle between those who want it and those who want it more. If you want to get better, you have to put in the effort. It does not happen because you thought maybe, well, I paid for this series and went through the motions. It ain't going to do that for you. Do the work.
There's something to be said to show up for race day, and we're not talking about being super fast, necessarily podiuming, even though that's going to be nice and fun too. But the way I coach folks, and John's got his own style, but very similar. Show up to race day to do the best that you can.
Oh, absolutely.
To leave it on the line, and we're not talking about finish times. We're talking about finish lines, but we're talking about doing the best that you can. And you learn and you gain, and you will get something that a lot of people don't have: mental grit.
Oh, absolutely.
But that ability to say, "I did the best that I could." Ironman Texas was the first race that I had ever really just did the best that I could the whole race. And it wasn't like fast effort. It was smart effort. It was considering my situation. I have a heart condition. Texas was hot. And then I ran the whole marathon. I didn't walk the marathon because I didn't want to. I wanted to run the marathon, and I did the very best that I could and then some. There's something to be said about that finish line, that it means so much more to me than because I wasn't pissy and bitchy, and I was grateful, and that's what we want to help you guys cultivate too.
Absolutely. When things go sideways, and they do, I just came out of Eagleman where the day was a disaster. The weather was atrocious. The bike course was a complete mess because we ended up with a time trial start, and you had 3,000 people on the bike within 30 minutes of each other. We had crashes all over the place. It was raining sideways. That created some issues for me health-wise. That created some other issues. But yet, sometimes that adversity creates an even specialer situation when you do get a finish. It's cool when you overcome some of these things, and these things are going to happen. I haven't heard anybody tell me yet, everything went perfect. I started, I swam, 20 seconds faster than I expected, and the bike was I blew everybody off the course, and when I ran,
I want to race like that.
Yeah, I'd like one.
Every race, buddy says that's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's because they always are.
Because most of them
they
are.
always are.
You put 3,000 idiots out there in this one
Every
spot.
race.
Every race. No, but those things I think are very important as you go forward. So, learn to appreciate some of this stuff.
Learn to embrace the suck and welcome the suck, and let the suck change you, because you race day, you'll be like, okay, I got this, and you'll bring that into your life too.
Absolutely. This sport will change you. It will make you believe you can do anything.
So interesting. Did you saw the post where Susan is raising money in Iowa to provide special need bikes?
This is cool.
To like autistic kids or handicapped kids, and bringing them into the racing. And these are big, kind of like very sturdy bikes, because some of these kids are adult kids.
Right.
And it's a different world. And so we are working to support her in her passion. So if you sign up for the Faster in 5, part of your donation is going to go to buying these race supportive bikes for special needs kids. So that's awesome. The next video is going to be on hill climbing. Gearing.
Oh, yeah. Interesting little topic.
And let's see the cow head one more time. What do you have to say?
He says he doesn't bike.
Moo.
Ironman Wisconsin coming up. Everybody race strong and safe there.
Absolutely. Please be
we
safe.
have a couple athletes going and doing that. So
Absolutely.
Near and dear to my heart. Love that race. Though I don't like biking or hill climbing.
I love biking.
Okay.
I hate climbing hills.
Absolutely. So, have any questions about biking, getting faster, any questions on our Faster in 5 program that you can do with us,
Absolutely.
or it can be a do-it-yourself type of thing, let us know.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. Namaste.
We love you guys.
Namaste.
Namaste.